You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Go for it, Jim. Climb the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous.
A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, no longer Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi, and my co-host is the new OTM pay-per-view champion, one half of the OTM pay-per-view champions, and the NXT champion. He is Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky. I don't think this is the song. The song was supposed to be Goodbye My Lover, Tuck.
No.
Oh, he's looking at the title right now. You guys, you can't see at all what he is doing. He's literally just giving it the stare. It is half of yours. It is not fully yours.
The best part, hello everyone. The best part is that it's just not yours anymore. I think as Ryan Vogus is listening to this in his car among his workday, he is fist pumping as well. Just knowing that you don't have the title. That's one less title. You are the owner of one half of one title of the three.
I want to throw this out there too, Vogus, if you're listening. When I handed Tuck that championship, he took it really fast and didn't even acknowledge the fact that you were half of the champions. You acted like that was fully yours, and it is not. You share that belt. I just want people to know that is not yours. It's only half. Just like I only have half of that toy AEW belt that's right below you.
Yeah, well, your interpretation of the events that unfolded, I would like to say, are inaccurate.
Okay, well.
I think the fervor in which I grabbed the belt was for Ryan and myself, for the two of us in celebration of the fact that you no longer
Such a baby face.
have it.
It's the worst baby face promo I've ever heard in the history of wrestling podcasting.
Not
just
as bad
so
as
you know.
Cesaro's.
You want to go there? You thought that was bad, or are you talking about the one on Talking Smack?
No, the pre-show.
Oh, okay, where he compared it to an espresso.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, there's other things you could compare.
He'll get better. I'm still a fan of the C-section.
You didn't respond to my tweet about the C-section. I was
don't
trying to
know
get
how-
make it a thing. We got to make social media attach themselves to the C-section.
Gonna have to get Matt Haskell to put on a shirt. C-section.
I've talked to Brett about potentially getting different kinds of designs, and we might be able to make that happen. I actually was on his Twitch stream this weekend.
I saw that.
I don't know if you saw any of that, but we played some college football, had some adult beverages. But that's not the reason we're here. We decided to record a little earlier this week, Todd.
Oh yeah, brother.
The reason being, a lot happened on Sunday. The landscape of WWE has changed a little bit, and here we are. It is episode 50. Yes, 50. We have reached the half-century point right here in the early 2021. Thoughts on us finally getting to 50?
Some people thought it would never happen. We had our doubters, and, we're putting all of those bets to shame. And here we are, episode 50. Here's to 50 more.
I think we're definitely going to get there by now.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we're in it for the long haul. Once you have merch, I feel like you just have to stick it out.
Yeah.
We didn't create that merch for no reason.
No, we're in it.
And if people wanted to go get some merch, where would they go, Tug?
Well, the easiest way to do it would be through our Twitter. If you go to Twitter @_OTSN, there is the link to the website, our Overtime Sports Network website, otsportsnetwork.witsite.com/OTSN.
Good job. I will throw this out there. If I land the job that I am interviewing for on Thursday, there is a discount right now on Wix where I can get a new domain. What song is this?
I don't know. I'm just kind of making it up.
Oh, okay.
Good luck to Kyle in his interview as well. I think you're a prime interview candidate. You watch wrestling. You know what good promos look like. You know how to sell yourself. You have to get over in this interview.
This is true.
And, get yourself over. Get that money. Let's go.
Get that money. Get that new domain. Bad news is I've already looked. I can't do otsportsnetwork.com again. I'm believing that's just because we already did that. So it had to be .net or something I don't even know. But, yeah, it would be otsportsnetwork.
OTSN.com is taken?
Oh, I guess we could venture into that. Maybe it doesn't have enough characters.
No, you could.
Emails can be whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I guess Wix.com is the host site.
People
So
forget.
that does. And if you want to check out the Overtime Sports Network, just go to Twitter and Instagram, like Tuck said, @_OTSN, and go to the website and get your merchandise for OTM and OTSN. Elimination Chamber was this Sunday. Tucky, you were watching this live, correct?
Yes, I was.
Did Mista get involved at all with Sunday's show? Or?
She watched, yeah. If I
Wow.
suggest watching it upstairs, all of a sudden, Mista is present for the entirety of the show. If I suggest watching it downstairs, she gets caught up a little bit.
He doesn't want to be in the cave.
So we watched it. Yeah, I guess not.
You've got a lot going on down there.
Yeah, we watched TakeOver together upstairs. We watched Elimination Chamber upstairs.
Jeez.
You know, she's Mrs. Wrestling. I don't know.
I missed the wrestling.
Hey,
Yeah,
we
that-
got Mr.
Tucky
O-
Two Bells.
OTM?
Well,
Tucky
you're
Belt and a
kind
half.
of tell. What if we'll work on the nickname for you.
Well, we do. You have a nickname, Half Belt Liarda.
Okay. Yeah, that was exchanged in confidential in our group chat or personal text. I shouldn't even say group chat.
Over our text feed, it was funny. It was like, you were like convinced that it was going to come down to Cesaro and Daniel Bryan with Jey Uso still in the match.
I also was very confident that Riddle was not going to win the U.S. title. And a lot of things.
And in hindsight, it all makes sense. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will. This first match was the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, which started with our two picks, Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. And then, like you said in the text messages, these are the two that I personally expected to last to the very end.
Yeah.
That did not happen here, Tuck.
No. It's interesting what they're doing with both, right? So you give Daniel Bryan that good push to lose in 90 seconds. There was that snap against Roman Reigns where
for a millisecond
what?
where
Yeah.
it gets you out of your seat, which was
good job.
Good job of booking.
Job.
Yep.
Well, hats off. I'm not super convinced on the Cesaro push as much now,
I think this is one of the many instances where not having fans hurt. Because if you have fans there for that Elimination Chamber, you're getting the same reaction Kofi Kingston got 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it becomes Cesaro Mania, and then maybe the storylines change a little bit, and he gets a big match.
That's a great point. The one thing we're not considering is how much the fans have been able to steer the narrative outside of the pandemic, because Kofi Mania was essentially a word-of-mouth movement, you know? Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch's rise to stardom started in the Allstate Arena.
Yeah.
At Money in the Bank.
It starts with a crowd,
It's just
the
hot.
people at home notice it, and then it turns into a trend.
Right.
When you just have the people backing you on Twitter, it's not the same as having the people and Vince hearing that reaction to that person.
And when you're pumping the crowd noise into the Thunderdome, you get to steer the narrative a little bit more. So I am interested to see that aspect now that you brought it up. I had actually not thought about that. Hats off to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer because I felt like this was Cesaro's moment. But credit to Daniel Bryan. I know I tweeted this out, so make sure you're following me. You can get all these tweets at 2SweetKyle. Too sweet! And I just said hats off to Daniel Bryan because being able to go that whole extent, win that match, do a lot of cool high spots. A lot of the bumps he took in this one were kind of rough. And I don't know about you. Every time I watch Daniel Bryan, I get a little worried because we know the history with the injuries,
Yeah, like relatively soon when he came back after the neck slap, I'm like, why is this dude just straight bouncing off of turnbuckles? Like
probably half of his selling.
I know, like he is incredible. Underrated? Fairly rated?
I think he's accurately rated.
I think most people, yeah.
I think most people would say Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, with the consistency, having a good match with all different styles. He had that long run in the greatest Royal Rumble ever. Granted, it wasn't, the actual Royal Rumble, but he had it in the largest one. I mean, he's had that moment at WrestleMania. He even flipped the script and played the other side against Kofi. So
just a workhorse, dude.
for so long, too. So credit to Daniel Bryan in this matchup, and also credit to Kevin Owens. I thought he had a lot of fun spots in this match, and specifically that moonsault that he landed off the pod was probably the most perfectly executed moonsault I've seen in a while.
Well, and the thing that goes with moonsaults is like the higher you go, the harder it gets to land flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An example I have of that is like Cody when he jumped off that super tall cage.
Yeah.
You just overshot it. And
that match was against Wardlow, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And to hit it flush, and he got kind of jacked up. So, yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, he was hot in this match. He had a couple stunners in there. I mean, we alluded to it multiple times. Just great face work from Kevin Owens recently. I don't know if you saw the thing I actually just retweeted on our Twitter account. He just took the moment, 2 minutes out of his time to thank the people behind the production. You know, like the crew that puts together the Elimination Chamber and everything. Like, you can tell this is just an overall good dude that cares about what he is doing and notices all the little things around it that come together to make this production.
And when you're going to be a face, the human element is you need the people behind you to be a good face. You know, Roman Reigns as a face with the corporate push, not really a face.
No, it was not working that way.
Right. You know, so I from our tiny fraction of an interaction with him at Walmart,
correct.
I think he signed everything. Like, I think he was there for an hour.
They offered a poster, right, for you.
You got
I forgot to get
free
that, by the way.
pictures. Signed anything. He signed multiple things for multiple people. You know, I got a couple things signed.
If we ever get the opportunity to meet him again, I am going to buy a monster for him to sign. A purple monster. That's what I'm going to
try
do.
to keep it.
Actually, you know what? I'm tagging Kevin Owens and soundbiting this right now. Kevin Owens, the next time we meet, I am bringing you a purple monster.
Yeah.
One for signing and one for you to consume.
Yes.
That seems fair because that's what he was drinking when we met him War Games weekend. But
good dude.
Also, how about Cesaro's little spot there at the top of the cage with Sami Zayn? He just felt like it was a good time to do some pull-ups. You know, take a page out of your book, get a little workout in at the top of an Elimination Chamber. Like, that's insane.
Right. You know, I think a lot of people would say there's not a bad time to work out. I think there are better times than others.
Safer times, too.
No doubt. So, but yeah, it was kind of funny. And those little things kind of start developing his personality a little bit more. He didn't say a word.
Yeah.
But you start developing that persona, that personality. So I hope the one thing, you know, him on the mic, I think he's getting better.
Better.
Yeah.
Still not top tier.
Right.
Or you maybe not even good, but average is probably the strength.
I just love watching him wrestle.
Have you seen his new shirts that aren't even for sale?
No.
It literally just says, like, Cesaro Wrestling or something on the top. And, like, the O has the Swiss flag in it, and wrestling has the WWE as the W in wrestling. Huh. Like, it was a nice white shirt, too. Like, you don't see a lot of white. We talk about it all the time with apparel, but that's something they need to put on WWE Shop because I would purchase it. But Jey Uso ended up eliminating Cesaro, actually, which shocked many, including myself. Even though Cesaro was eliminated, though, there was no fans. It still seems like he has the backing of social media. And I'm hoping that at least social media can get him into a high-profile match.
Please.
It's got to be Seth Rollins, right?
I think so. I think that's the natural, yeah.
And, like, I don't know if there's going to be any sort of, reward for winning that match with Seth Rollins, but any win against Rollins would be credible, especially at WrestleMania, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm trying to look up Cesaro's shirt that he was wearing. Oh, here it is. It says Love Wrestling. This is bad podcasting, but I'm going to show Tuck here. And if you haven't seen it, I believe it's on the pre-show of Elimination. I mean, like, that would work for anyone because if you're a wrestling fan, you probably love wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I was referring to. I got the words wrong there. So the final two were Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan would be the one that ended up winning this match. And, of course, right after just going through an hour of Elimination Chamber, Roman Reigns decided to have that Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns won in about 2 minutes. And then immediately after that, Edge would then spear Roman Reigns and make his selection for WrestleMania 37. Edge versus Roman Reigns. How excited are you for that match?
I am pretty excited. I think that's a tough one to call. The thing that floats in my head is like, If Roman gets through Edge, then who's next?
I don't know. Especially if you look at SmackDown, because
there's a ton of options.
But are they better than Edge?
Yeah, right. That AJ Styles.
Another thing I totally just came to my head, too. Edge has never won a Universal title because he was retired for about 7 years or whatever it was. So maybe they want to put that notch in his belt by beating Roman Reigns. But then after that, when does Roman Reigns go from there? Because, like, the dude's been at the top of WWE now for almost a year.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed it.
I don't think anybody has hated it. That's
Right.
for damn sure if you look up and down.
So, I don't know. I'm holding Shinsuke?
Cesaro, Daniel Bryan. Like you think of SmackDown, and that's about all you're working with. Maybe that's when they do the Big E push.
Yeah.
Because we've heard a bunch of rumors of Big E getting a singles push, so
Yeah.
they have options. It's not like it's the end of the world, but Edge versus Roman Reigns, like you said, one of those I think can go either way.
Yeah.
Would hate to be the OTM pay-per-view champion going into WrestleMania.
Well, I'd rather be the champion and have the opportunity to lose it than
I still
not
got
have the
that
belt at
toy
all.
belt. Don't forget about it, which I will be defending
half of it.
in a little over a week now.
Yeah.
Which we haven't talked about AEW, but we'll get there. After that SmackDown Chamber match in the Universal title, we got to see the U.S. title match. It was Bobby Lashley, Riddle, and John Morrison, because we found out right before the show, Keith Lee apparently is injured. Jomo wins that fatal four-way at the pre-show. He gets put in this match. At the time, that didn't make much sense to me, but as Elimination Chamber kind of progressed, it makes sense for John Morrison, who's the friend of The Miz, to be involved in a Lashley match. So, overall thoughts from that?
Well, in hindsight, I mean, I picked Lashley. How big of an idiot am I? I think all of us except Bogus did. That was the match that made it a tie.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it makes sense. So the fun part now will be figuring out when Lashley gets the belt. If he gets the belt, what's it look like? Is it McIntyre? Lashley at WrestleMania? I mean, that's got to be it, right?
Yeah, you would think. But Lashley in this match in general looked dominant even while losing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you want to do for someone that's dropping the strap. But Riddle used MVP's crutch in this one to attack Lashley, and then he grabbed Morrison, hit him with the Bro Derek to be the new United States champion.
Okay, what the word Bro Derek?
I was going to ask you if you know what that means.
What is it a playoff of? Like what?
Let me look it up. I don't know. Like, I really don't. Yeah, I look it up, and it's just Matt Riddle doing the Bro Derek. Let's go to Urban Dictionary.
Well, I don't. That's like I don't like like the Beck-sploder.
It's apparently, and this is according to Urban Dictionary, the super hot chick who only hangs out with the bros.
No, that's not it.
It's not it. But I mean,
it's got like with the word Beck-sploder. That the word would be exploder. They just made it Beck-sploder. You know,
I'm trying to find the origin of it.
I don't get it. The Bro Derek.
Oh, okay. So there was a tweet from 2017, and he said it's the new modified Bro Stone. So maybe it was called the Bro Stone before that, inspired by Derek, who was probably a guy he was wrestling, or maybe a guy on Twitter. It could have been a better name for a finishing move, I think.
The Bro Derek. Yeah,
and it's spelled Derek, so like it's somebody's name. But anyways, thoughts on Matt Riddle becoming the new United States champion? Obviously, we didn't see it coming, but cool, right?
Yeah, we mentioned. I was hoping it would launch him into a slightly more formidable character, and then he's riding around Tropicana Field on a Razor scooter the next day, talking about his Warzone win.
We get it. He's a stoner.
Yeah,
that's the gimmick. And a bro, but we don't have to make him stupid, you know?
Like childish.
Yeah.
Right.
At first, I thought he botched saying Warzone. I thought he was thinking War Games, and it was Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, yeah, Warzone's a game people play.
Warzone's been out for months, too, and if that was his first win, like, he's not that good.
No.
People forget.
Have you've won Warzone a couple times?
I've never played.
Really?
Never played a game of Warzone.
You're a video games guy, too.
I play a ton of Cold War, but I don't play. I like playing
Cold War
Dirty
guy.
Bomb.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's so fun.
What is it like?
So there's
England?
basically it's teams of 4. 6 bombs are on the map. You got to detonate. You have to drop uranium into a bomb, collect points. It's fun.
Okay.
It's good.
I believe there's teams of 4 too in Warzone, so at least there's a similarity there.
Mm-hmm. No gulag in Dirty Bomb.
No gulag. I didn't understand that difference, that reference, but here we are. I'm sure a lot of kids did.
If you die in Warzone, you get to go to a gulag where you square off 1-on-1 with another human. If you win,
who also died.
You're back in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, now everybody knows that I don't play a lick of shooting games.
That's
just
okay.
Not my arsenal.
That's all right. It's okay.
The only shooting I do is in 2K.
Yeah.
That's it.
How are the Knights doing?
We started year 3 because I got swept once again in the playoffs by the Lakers because it's hard to guard LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So
yeah, I could see that.
that was your NBA 2K report with Gagliardo. After that, the U.S. title match, we got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, and they took on Sasha and Bianca. It happened. Reginald got involved for some reason, and I really don't have much else to say.
Kind of over the Reginald stuff.
I don't think I'm over him, but his involvement in everything, it's kind of
there's so much talent there. Carmella, Sasha, Bianca, Shayna. I will not say the other one.
Riot Squad's on SmackDown.
You don't need Reginald.
You don't.
In that. So I hope it's not as big of a program going into Mania, but we'll see.
Why even do that match? It didn't make sense to me because we know Bianca and Sasha are going to face each other. Just let's throw them together, even though Nia and Shayna have a title defense on NXT in a week. So
yeah,
who knows? It was obvious. It happened. We're not going to talk about it. The final match that we got to see was the Raw Elimination Chamber. This match itself, a lot slower in pace than what we saw earlier in the Chamber match, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and the thing that frustrates me being a teacher and a rule guy is they don't say like how long the time between pods is.
I think it's 5 minutes.
You would think one match it was 23 minutes until all 6 were in. The other match, it was 16 minutes until all 6 were in.
Did you count that yourself, or did you see somebody?
No, I found that on a write-up.
Okay, fair enough.
But the Raw, when the guys were in a lot quicker. The last one, the main event.
Well, they were probably rushing time, I would assume.
Yeah.
Actually, what would they be rushing for? Wasn't the show shorter than Raw?
Yeah. It was great.
It's an easy watch, for sure, and we've talked about that plenty of times. Like, Raw, you're like, oh. And you could see with Raw this week, they were trying to fit a lot into 3 hours, and it was a lot to take in. But Randy Orton was actually the first superstar eliminated.
That surprised me.
Like, by Kofi, too, of all people.
And it's like is The Fiend, like, allergic to pay-per-views? Can he not influence them? The last 2, he's been non-existent. But then on Monday night, he's like, well, he pops up.
How many appearances does he even have on pay-per-views in the past 2 years?
The Fiend?
Yeah, like, I feel like it's few and far in between.
Yeah.
Because the guy's rarely on TV, which is a nice gig for Bray Wyatt, personally. Because the body's going to be...
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be in decent shape. So, Randy Orton losing and not having any interference with The Fiend was very weird. But on his way out, he would RKO Jeff Hardy and Kofi. But speaking of Jeff Hardy and Kofi, I thought they got a lot more time in this match than I personally expected, and I thought they got a pretty good shine and a good rub. What did you think about their performances?
I think Jeff Hardy is useless. I don't know, he's just...
Is useless the word?
No, he's not. He doesn't do anything for me.
Anymore.
Right. He used to be my favorite. But he's certainly not useless, but interesting decision to give him specifically as much time. But, yeah.
First chamber more fun, in your opinion?
Significantly.
Yeah, I would agree. And at the end, it really was obvious to me that Drew McIntyre was going to come out with the win. I believe it came down to him and AJ, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because Sheamus was eliminated before AJ. So, obviously, they still made AJ look strong, which I appreciate. And I saw somebody bring that up on Twitter. They're like, why do you think AJ has still been booked pretty strong? Like, he's winning matches on Raw. What are they prepping him for?
That's a good question.
Triple H? Didn't they have like a backstage tiff or something? There's a connection there that we may have forgot about, but I feel
I don't know.
I feel like they could have beef, but a guy like AJ Styles is so talented. You got to find him a match on that card.
Yeah, and interesting to see what'll happen with him with WrestleMania.
So after the match, that's when all the fun happened. We got the almighty Bobby Lashley coming out.
Bobby Lashley.
He would attack Drew McIntyre. And we saw before the Chamber, I don't know if you noticed this going into the Chamber, MVP backstage with The Miz having a conversation. So this obviously is why Bobby Lashley came out to attack Drew, correct?
Yeah, that's the deal, right? And then MVP going on Instagram during the match.
Did he really?
With a picture, and he said business. It was like him talking with The Miz.
And the Hurt Business has been doing great things.
Absolutely.
You have the Raw Tag Team Champions. Now you have Lashley, who's a legitimate threat. And MVP making deals like this with The Miz, because we heard The Miz's music hit. He ran down with the ref to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. He spiked the champion with a DDT. We got the 2 count, and then he put him in the skull-crushing finale. The Miz, the A-lister, is the new WWE champion. Thoughts? Not many people expected the cash-in to happen here, and not many people expected it to be successful. So are you a fan of The Miz walking out of Elimination Chamber with the WWE title?
Yes.
Elaborate.
Just different, something to mix it up a little bit. It now is not this just like kind of by the book story of Drew McIntyre heading to WrestleMania. So I'm okay with it.
I've seen a lot of complaints. I'm sure you have too on Twitter, because that's mainly where I see all my stuff. And a lot of people in general over the past few years have complained about Money in the Bank winners wasting and having failed cash-ins. That's been a big complaint. You think of Corbin. You think of Damian Sandow a few years ago. You think of their decision to just give it to Otis first off this year.
Yeah.
Wasn't smart.
They were like, oh, shit.
They're like, oh, shit, yeah, we should maybe give it to someone that's somewhat credible. So The Miz has it. Were people just expecting him to have a failed cash-in?
I guess. When it switched to Miz, it was like, all right, they're probably going to do something with it. And isn't that what the Money in the Bank is for? Like,
that's what it was intended to be.
Yeah,
to throw a wrinkle into storylines, give somebody an opportunity
to get out of jail free card. From a story development standpoint, I think it's great.
I just don't get the complaints, because Miz is a former WWE champion. Yes, that was 10 years ago, but he has shown he is enough to hold that title. He's a reliable heel in the WWE, and he can go, he can go at all times. Like, there's nobody that he can't have a match with. Is it going to be the best match?
Probably not.
No, but how consistent has The Miz been over the past 15 years?
Yeah, and again, it's just different for me, so I'm cool with it. Let's see how it goes.
I am too, and I think a lot of people are worried that he is going to be carrying that belt into WrestleMania, but I think we need to be patient, and a lot of people nowadays with wrestling aren't, and they want that thing to happen right away, right now. They want to know what's going to happen. But I think there's a bigger picture behind all of this.
Yeah, we're 7 weeks out, so there's still time, and there's another pay-per-view before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, Fastlane, but
still counts.
It's still something. And the internet marks are so impatient. You say you want one thing, you complain about it, you get it, and then you whine about it some more. I don't know what to do with all these idiots on my social media feed. It was a lot to handle after that, but I think it's fairly obvious that The Miz won't be champion for long. So why don't we just discuss that title scene, but we'll discuss that after you give me your grade for Elimination Chamber. Overall grade from Tucky for the Chamber.
Just B. Just a B.
I had a B-.
Yeah, B. I loved the length and the duration.
Easy watch.
The Chambers were good. The SmackDown one was kind of like can't miss. I really enjoyed that one. The Raw one really drug, I think, early on, and then it kind of picked up. Triple Threat was fine. Tag match was fine with the women. So yeah, it was fair. It was good. It did a nice job setting itself up on the road to WrestleMania. So,
and you talked about this with the Royal Rumble, how you can create so many feuds off of that match itself. I think we saw a little bit of the future feuds going into WrestleMania just with these chamber matches.
Yeah.
It looked like Jey Uso and Kevin Owens still aren't over their little feud, so maybe that's something going into an IC title ladder match. They have their own thing.
Yeah.
You have a lot of different directions you can go. So we're on the road to WrestleMania, and on Monday Night Raw, Lashley gave Miz the first hour to grant him a title shot because they made that deal the previous night on Elimination Chamber. And then Braun Strowman came out.
Hell yeah, brother.
Why?
I don't know. And why were the gloves on his pants? I don't like him.
Wait, gloves on his pants?
He had gloves like Velcroed to his pants.
Oh no, that's a
his
thing.
Work gloves. No, it's not a thing.
Well, I'm not saying in general, but for him, it's a thing.
Apparently now.
Oh, that's bad.
I like him less and less.
So he demanded to be in that match that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Miz said it's not happening this week. It's going to happen next week. Chances Miz is even retaining. So we know he's going to be facing Bobby Lashley because they made that deal, the Elimination Chamber. Side note, there were no side plates of the Miz on his WWE title. Something to keep in mind.
He just won it. It's soon,
What do you think? Miz retaining next week?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Clean?
No.
Okay.
Oh no. I don't know what the shenanigans look like because the thing that Lashley has behind him as well is the Hurt Business. So it's like it's tough.
I
There's
think
got to be something though. Why would you have him win just to give it up 2 shows later? Not even 2 full weeks later.
I'm with you. I think the Miz will find a way to retain. I think this would be smart if the Miz just either counts himself out or goes outside the ring and hits himself with the chair, hits Bobby with the chair, and then runs away.
Yeah.
Just keeps prolonging this little thing, this back and forth that they're going to be having.
Yeah, I think it takes you to Fastlane, honestly.
You have to get there.
Get to Fastlane, put a stipulation on it. Just not last man standing, please. And go from there. And then you have the 4 weeks, 3 weeks
About
to build,
4, I think, yeah.
to build Lashley and McIntyre on the way to WrestleMania.
So that's what I was going to say. Whether it is Lashley or Miz that is champion out of Fastlane, I believe it will be Drew McIntyre, getting that win in front of the fans because he didn't get that opportunity last year by beating Brock Lesnar. And then maybe there's a way that Lashley can, stay in that feud with Drew for a little bit of the beginning part of the summer.
Yeah.
So that how excited are you for the potential of Lashley versus Drew? Because this is something we didn't really see coming until Sunday.
I like Lashley a lot more than I thought I like him more now than I ever have. And the Hurt Business and MVP have a lot to do with that. So I think it'll be a good match. The other thing you can do with WrestleMania being 2 nights, you could go something on night 1 leads to something in night 2 kind of thing. I think New Japan does something like that. But
yeah, they do a 2-night thing, I believe.
Yeah, so they got options.
But if you were to put a percentage on it, what are the odds the Miz walks in the WrestleMania with the WWE Championship?
0.01%.
So why are people freaking out?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, why? Why do it?
Well,
why can't we just be patient?
And for me, Raw is a grind to get through. The first hour, I wanted to see how it shook out. Right?
They left that clock up there too, which is a nice little touch.
The audience loves clocks, timers.
The timing was off too,
Rumble,
because they said an hour and they got to 7:55 our time, and they were doing that. An hour's been up, even though they were out in the ring at like 7:05. So
and that stipulation wasn't announced until like 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Show.
So their timers are weird.
We get it. In the WWE universe, the time works like a little bit different.
It does,
yeah.
and that's wrestling in a nutshell, I guess. But
yeah.
Since we're on the road to WrestleMania, we're starting to see some things pop up. We haven't had the opportunity to really talk about Bad Bunny and his involvement in WWE. First, original thoughts when he popped up. What were you thinking?
I could care less.
Now, what are you thinking?
I could care more.
I like it.
I think you mentioned this on Twitter. I think he actually cares about it, and that's all that it takes for me. I don't think I could tell you one beat, song, line, lyric of a Bad Bunny song.
We're not Bad Bunny listeners.
No, we're not. I personally prefer the good ones, the good bunnies, but
like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, he's a great name a better bunny. Playboy
Bunny.
But
here's some Bad Bunny. It kind of slaps. Are we going to get copyrighted for that?
No. No, we'll be fine.
We don't get enough listeners to get copyrighted.
It's fine. It's cool. I don't care, really. I like him.
Celebrity involvement's been a thing in WWE since the beginning of time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they brought in Cyndi Lauper for WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
They had Mike Tyson involved, Mr. T.
Mm-hmm.
The celebrity thing is a good way to incorporate the casual wrestling audience with the diehard fans. So originally when I saw Bad Bunny, I didn't really know who he was for the first part. And the second thing, I was like, why? Why now? Why here? But after Raw has happened here for the past month, we've seen Bad Bunny every week. Mm-hmm. Like, he is showing up to Monday Night Raw. He also had a Saturday Night Live where he performed with the 24/7 title.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell the guy cares about being a part of the WWE universe, and I kind of respect that.
Yeah.
And his pairing with Damian Priest, I think this has been a good way to introduce him to the main roster because you're pairing him with this world superstar, the top guy right now on the charts, and it only can help Damian Priest, right?
Yeah, Damian Priest should be the last guy complaining about any kind of celebrity crowding because it's only benefited him.
And he's looked so comfortable backstage with Bad Bunny and everything. Like, the entrance on Raw, it feels right. Everything that Damian Priest is doing, it's working with Bad Bunny for sure. But I have a prediction. Tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
Damian Priest, Mr. Money in the Bank 2021.
Yeah, I could see it.
The way he's been looking right now, let's not forget, he beat The Miz 2 weeks ago, who is the WWE champion. That's another thing that people aren't talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the match I expect at WrestleMania is Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and Morrison.
Hey.
Like we've been saying. Oh, I was supposed to say ho. I was supposed to say ho. I missed the cue there. That's on me. But going back to wrestling Twitter, apparently some people think Drew McIntyre is getting stale. That is a take that has been going out right now. Oh, how quick they turn on him, Tucky. Oh,
I have no idea where that comes from. Drew has been nothing but an outstanding champion in uncharted waters, uncharted territory during this pandemic.
He's carried the company virtually. Him, Roman, and that's about it.
I love him.
I appreciate his work.
I'm
not like a diehard Drew McIntyre fan. Like, I'm not going to put him in my fave 5.
Well, I'm not a diehard fan. I'm just in love with. I just love him.
I think he's been great. So the stale thing doesn't make sense to me either because he's only had this gimmick now for like a year.
Yeah,
and it's been working in front of no fans.
Well, and the problem that WWE, professional sports, sports entertainment in general, everyone is living like 140 characters at a time, snippets of information at a time. The YouTube clips are popping off because they're quick and they're short. That's why Raw is such a grind. You know what I mean? And they're trying to fill 3 hours, and SmackDown is much more achievable. And there's a lot of people that, they buy a new wardrobe every 3 months, and they want new.
Trendy. What's hot in the streets,
Yeah.
And then when that person loses the belt, like Drew, they're like,
good.
This guy sucks.
That's good. He's stale. Yeah.
That's just hopping on bad. We're not here for any Drew slander. If you got any of that, then don't listen to our podcast. That's simple as that.
That's a flat.
No.
I think there are good parts that you could still listen to. We can just respectfully agree to disagree.
I just don't understand how anybody can have anything bad to say about Drew McIntyre. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm pissed about that. Just the wrestling community in general is just irking me right now.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell.
Old man, get off my lawn is what I'm feeling. I'm getting those.
Or let's just be patient and see how things turn out.
Yeah. I've, for the most part, enjoyed WWE programming.
For the most part.
Yeah. But,
they have their stinky moments.
Yeah. But in the middle of the pandemic, I think I've been pretty satiated. So it's like.
Yeah, imagine if we didn't have wrestling throughout this whole coronavirus thing. Especially during the months we didn't have sports.
Yeah,
ooh.
That would have been tough.
It would have been. But thankfully, they've stuck around. We're close to WrestleMania. And speaking of WrestleMania, here's what I'm thinking the card's looking like right now. Roman Reigns versus Edge. That is official. that is a 10 out of 10 banger, correct?
Yep.
Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair.
Banger.
Would you main event that match on one of the nights?
Yes.
I would too. Okay, we're on the same page there. The Fiend versus Randy Orton. Now, I think the absence of The Fiend has kind of taken a little steam off of this. Alexa's done a good job at kind of filling in that void, but overall for me, I'm not as excited as I once was at this match.
Yeah, I'm at see lukewarm. Yeah.
Also on Raw, it seems like Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman might have some beef going on.
Oh, Shane O'Mac is back, baby.
I was excited to see Shane.
Yeah.
I like the
I'm all right
music.
with it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. What about Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee?
I would love
Ooh.
to see that. That'd be a tough one to pick.
There's your show stealer of the night, I think, if that match did happen. Because we saw what they did on Raw about a month ago, and it was great. So that would be very exciting. But if Keith Lee wasn't ready to go, who would you think would step into that void for the United States title on Monday Night Raw? Is that a spot for maybe AJ Styles, or is that beneath him at this point? You could have Jeff Hardy, but like you said, he's kind of just meh.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one. Sheamus.
Yeah, I guess. I was going to say.
Because what else is Sheamus going to do?
Freaking John Morrison. I know he's in that. He'll probably be in that tag match with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. But like,
Isn't it nice, though, to see John Morrison get some singles matches, though?
I think I like watching him, and I think Mista might have a sneaky crush on him. I don't know.
Dude, he's got like a 12-pack.
I had there were comments.
Now, listen. This ain't no make-believe.
This ain't no make believe.
I wish I could do the slow-mo for you again, but nobody would see it. So
Right, yeah.
it was only as good as that one time I did it.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. Ooh, nobody's seeing what we're doing. But other than that, any other matchups you could potentially be seeing, or are we just going to wait and see what happens here in the next few weeks?
John Moxley or no? Oh, wrong. Nope.
Wrong company.
Got it.
We will talk about AEW, though, next week, because
Yeah.
the March 7th, I believe it is when AEW Revolution is going to be, which is crazy to think about because I believe it was the last wrestling pay-per-view where fans were in attendance was last year's Revolution.
Yeah.
Come around full circle. Here we are a year later. Still no fans in the stands.
No fans in the stand.
And we were there.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
I was drunk.
You had a few pops.
Sleepy boy, dying for a bucket of pop.
I bought $2 worth of half a box of popcorn off of you.
I think it was like $10.
No, there's no way I spent $10.
Yes.
I was hungry, but I didn't want to leave my seat.
No, I ate half the bucket and made my money back.
Yeah, maybe it was.
You overpaid.
I was hungry.
Supply and demand,
Dude.
But we were in a spot.
I was there watching it. I was into every single match on Revolution. I remember I knew you were drunk too when I was like, yeah, Young Bucks versus Hangman and Omega was the best match I've seen live. And you're like, yeah, it was all right. I was like, Tuck, that was fucking great.
Thing from them.
All right, next time we go to an AEW pay-per-view, please.
I gotta dial in a little more.
You had a good time, though.
At All Out, I was like dialed in because I wasn't drinking with my buddies.
But that was
didn't
your first
pregame.
experience to AEW, correct? All Out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
That's
I was
also
trying to figure it out.
We're going to have to find a happy medium where you get enough drinks and that you can at least enjoy.
Just like enjoy the pregame. Like, don't make it like I was on a mission.
I know we talked about that, going to that show multiple times, but that was such a good day.
It was.
Solid day all around.
Good food. I think we pregamed twice.
The bar was right next to...
We went to the bar, but
Yeah.
before that we went for food too, didn't we?
Yeah, at Rico Benny's.
Rico Benny.
Yeah, that's where we went. And then we went to that bar where the drunk guy too sweet and everyone. So there was something to close out the show that I had in mind. I didn't get the interaction I was hoping for. I asked Twitter, @PotOnTheMark, if anyone had any takes after watching the Chamber pay-per-view and Monday Night Raw. And we got one response from our good friend, Mikey Wilson. So maybe we give Mikey a little giveaway of some sort.
All right. I have an empty A&W Zero Sugar root beer bottle.
Congrats.
We could both sign. Well, he's already got our autograph.
He does. Otherwise, I would give that to him.
Dang.
All right,
we
Mikey.
would give him the title, but he has to like accurately predict more matches than us.
Mikey, you have to try when you're doing these predictions.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we're going to throw that out there.
He was close. He got jacked up by the.
He had Owens, which makes sense.
That's a good one, yeah.
Reigns.
He had Belair and Banks.
Why he had Belair and Banks, I don't know. He had Lashley and Drew. That's why he didn't win the belt. But he said Miz retains, air quotes I'm putting on that, against Lashley next week on Raw, which is probably what we were saying.
Yeah.
Some sort of DQ, hooker crook shenanigans. They make that match the main event at Fastlane, which we probably agree with. And then he says at Fastlane, there's a number one contenders match where the winner will headline WrestleMania against Lashley or The Miz. And that match will be between Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Keith Lee, and Braun Strowman.
No Sheamus?
No Sheamus. That's the four-way. I think if Keith Lee can go, he'd probably be a part of that.
Yeah.
It's potentially something you could do. What do you think of Mikey's take?
Match.
With what, like a contract at the top? Just a
right.
Mania contract? No, you can do a Mania contract.
A Dollar General clipboard at the top.
You could do that. But Randy Orton getting that opportunity, though, after being the first eliminated.
No, he gone. Yeah.
And especially what we saw him on
Jeff Hardy.
Kofi.
Daniel Bryan. No, wrong match.
No, wrong brand.
Yeah, you'll get that.
Randy Orton.
Quarterly brand to brand invitational.
Yeah, I'm sure we could do that, too.
Yeah.
Randy Orton coughing up some tar, it looked like.
Yeah, whatever that
was. What was that?
Yeah.
Weird. Any thoughts on Retribution? I think...
They're dead?
Yes, which is good news, right?
Please, give me Dominik Dijakovic back.
Put him back in NXT.
I want to feast my eyes.
Put Dominik back in NXT. Put Mace, what's his name? Dio Madden.
Yeah.
Put him in NXT. Put Slapjack.
Yeah, Flapdick.
Give us Mia Yim back.
Yeah.
But they could still keep Ali as a heel on the main roster, couldn't they?
Yeah. With Seth Rollins.
What, as like his new
he's
prophet?
Like, those guys weren't doing it for me, you and I.
They're on opposite brands, though.
I don't care. That doesn't ever do anything for
I know
me.
It doesn't mean shit in the WWE because you have that, crossover thing. I hope that means they're dead.
Ali will embrace the vision.
Ali versus Kofi at WrestleMania 37?
I'd be here for it. That'd be a good match.
I don't think it would be. There's a lot of matches, and they're going to have a lot of time to fill, especially with the 2-night thing. Still no information on tickets, which I find kind of weird.
Yeah, I think they might be holding out to see like just how many they can get.
Because they're going to try to get as many as possible.
If you sell one seating arrangement, it would be hard to shuffle in between. You know what I mean?
It is doable. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. We haven't heard anything of an outbreak at the Super Bowl.
No.
So if they can do it at the same stadium, I think we can pull it off for WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens there. But like I said, next week will be our AEW Revolution preview show, and we probably will recap Dynamite as well because we haven't been spending much time talking about AEW. Probably fair, though, because, I mean, WWE's been hot in the streets.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And AEW's heating up. Here we go.
Is it, though?
No, we got Revolution coming up.
I guess so. Revolution, now that we've had that good one the previous year, I'm excited for this year's.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Is that their Mania? Or do you think they view All Out as that?
Double or Nothing? Oh, I don't know. I don't think they have a.
They need one, don't they?
They do, yeah.
They definitely do, especially with their new relationship they have with Impact or Ring of Honor now, too, I believe.
You could make it a 2-night weekend.
Invitational, just like, I don't know the word of it, but.
Night one is people working to get to night 2, and.
That's a pretty solid idea.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're just saying, Cody, if you want to take our ideas, you can.
We're open.
Just have to pay us some royalties.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's got a lot because he's got, the big show that he's a part of on TNT.
The Go Big Show.
Well, no, that's not that show. How many minutes of that show have you watched?
Can my answer be a negative number? I don't.
Mine's 0.
I've seen previews, so by proxy I've seen parts of the show. I'm assuming.
I'll tell you, I have watched Young Rock.
Good.
Wasn't bad.
Okay, I haven't.
McAfee was all about it. He was getting ripped on Twitter for saying bad things, but it's a fun way of viewing The Rock's childhood.
Yeah,
they had people playing Andre the Giant.
That's what it is.
I mean, what else? It's nice to know a little bit about how The Rock was raised and all that. So it's going to be on tonight. I'm going to watch it here Tuesday night. It's actually going to be on in 15 minutes.
Here we go.
But yeah, that's all I got from this week. Episode 50, Tuck, in the books.
50 in the books. Here's to 50 plus more. Thank you for tuning in. We've got AEW coming up next week. Make sure you follow us at Pod on the Mark on Twitter, the Overtime Sports Network at _OTSN. You can follow myself at JimTuck89. And don't forget to follow Kyle at Too Sweet Kyle.
Too sweet.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the On the Mark Podcast.
Brock Lesnar going for an F5 to Cena for the championship. Lesnar with the cover.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pod on the Mark.